Okay, so let's take a look at how you can connect your instance of MySQL server from your Google Cloud to TablePlus. So what is TablePlus? Basically, it is one of those database admin tool, and they are intended for Mac actually, but now they have released it for Windows as well. Right? There is also iPad and Linux version. A bit difficult to use ID, but you can use it for any database listed in their features page, right? So it looks something like this, pretty good for show off or so, but feature wise I find it pretty difficult, but still it's on demand, so I'm showing you that, right? So first thing, make sure to create your cloud account and have your one project and billing set up. Next thing would be to view all products. Right now here we will be checking out all the products from console, and then we will go to Cloud SQL. Right, so scroll to the database and check SQL option, and here within SQL option you will notice that you have this particular area where you get to create instances. So I already have one running, and I will create a new one to show you how it goes. So click on create instance, and here you will have to choose database, MySQL, Postgres, SQL Server, and so on. So if you pick the MySQL one, you have versions to choose from. Click choose MySQL, and now we will be doing series of configuration options. Now this would be something you should check for variety of options. So my instance here, I can name this to cdevSQL like I given here, then set the password or even generate it. And if you wish to generate, you can set the policy like minimum length, complexity, reuse, disallow, so on. Once you do these two things, move to database version. Choose the database version between 8, 5 and 5.6. Now next thing, you choose the configuration to start with, right? So I'll pick the development and I will expand on that. Here you see single zone or multi-zone or CPUs, then memory, storage, and can enable disable automatic storage, then backups, point in time recovery, and maintenance order. Right now next is moving to region. So here you see the region where you can have from say Asia, Europe, then comes your US, Canada, and so on. You can also find the icon that says green particularly, which means you can pick this for low carbon emission, right? So if you are environment conscious, pick that, right? So for example, let's say I picked Asia, Mumbai, right? Then zone, single zone like I mentioned, because it's just for test. Next I can configure these items separately. For example, machine type, I can pick between shared, which will be lowest one, or I can pick lightweight, another lowest one, but a bit more on performance side. I can choose between CPU and memory manually as well. Then comes storage, can pick between HDD and SSD. Pick 10 GB if you want to go with low and increase as required. Then comes your connections, you can pick the IP, right? And then you can set the range for network. So let's say if I name this all and use 000 and 0 4 times /0. Click done and you have the network there. Then comes data protection for your automatic backups, point in time recovery, and deletion protection. So all of those things managed. Then comes maintenance. Here you have option for maintenance for the day. You can also set time and also time zone, right? So apart from that, you can choose flags for the aspect of instance, and if you choose to use telemetry, you can use query insights. Then there is labels for your organization of resources. Once you do all of this, click create instance. So what happens when you do that is it will take a bit of time to generate one resources after another, and it will do it till a particular point is reached where you will have to just wait for it to enable your region, right? So that part is when your instance will be ready and listed in instance page, and when you click on it, it will show you the running instance. So when you first time do this, you won't find CPU being utilized, but in my case I am running this for like 7 to 8 hours, and it is showing the progress. It will only show the spikes at the point where I try to access it with certain set of tools. Next thing, you will also find public IP address and connection name, and from there we move to connections, right? We have to choose security, and where I have to select allow SSL connections, and then save and restart your MySQL server. Next, I will download the certificate, right? This is very important because our TablePlus would be needing that, right? Once you do these two things, move to networking, where you choose public IP and add the all network that I mentioned before. If you haven't added it, this is the place where to do so. Click done, and then move to overview, where we are going to get the IP address, right? So connect to this particular instance, choose IP address. Now I will open my TablePlus instance, click on open. Right, so here as you see, TablePlus instance, click new by right clicking and then choose MySQL. Here I will name this Dev MySQL. Status color we can pick anything, then add the IP address here. Port is 3306 because this is MySQL. User is root. I can pick the password. Now once you add the password, you can pick the database as well. Then SSL mode is preferred, and we can choose CA certificate. Let's move to our D drive where we have that. Click open, right? Once you have all of this, simply click test, and it says connection is okay. That means we are good to go. What we will do after that is click OK. Now we have to save this connection, and we will say connect, which will open up another window where we are connected to the database, right? Now this instance will also show you that option to connect between the multiple connection. Currently we only have one, right, as you can see, and here we have option for queries, history for any previous action, then comes your database list. Here you see all the listed database. As you can see, this is one of the minimalists database admin tool, typical for Mac users. Select the database to work on, click open. Now here you have table, double click on it, or even single click, you will have your table with 10 entries, right? Now I can add additional entry by right clicking, add row. If I want to delete, I will select a row and right click and delete. That is also possible. And if you want to modify anything, select the entry on the right hand side you can make the changes, right? So kind of like a bit of minimalist and also a bit difficult approach, which you may notice with most of the Mac apps. Things are kind of like explained in icons or right clicks, and there isn't any strong menu as such saying file edit and all that, because all of that is usually embedded in the top bar. In this case, however, you have menu in the right, so you don't want this type of stuff, then this is what you get, right? So ignoring all that, as you can see, we managed to connect our GCP MySQL instance with TablePlus.